So moving on with the further topic, after learning the roles of a manager that are required to be performed and the kind of different situations that demands the different type of activities performed by a manager, it is quite clear for us to understand that there are different ways in which a manager has to perform the job. And to perform this job, in addition to the abilities and the kind of different roles that he play, there are also certain kind of skills which are required to perform, because a manager is involved in developing certain plans and policies. Managers are involved in performing different nature of activities, right, starting from planning to delegating tasks and responsibilities, and they also have to manage the resource allocation. They have to undertake several responsibilities which are of different nature, and to perform these different nature of activities that obviously dependent upon the level on which they are designated, the task and the skills has to be matched. There are certain key skills which are required to perform these different nature of activities, and that is why it is very important to reflect upon what kind of skills are probably required for a manager to perform this job diligently and effectively. So there are these three types of skills which has been suggested by Robert Karts, and he has given three classification of such kind of skills, one of which is the technical skill, another is the conceptual skill, and human skills. Now what are these three skills and why they are so important for a manager's job? Now, technical skills are those skills that talks about the knowledge and the proficiency of an individual in that particular field. Now, every job is different. There are different type of operations that has to be performed. Technical skill is something that specifies about the basic nitty-gritties of the job. Every individual who does not possess a technical knowledge is not able to fulfill the requirement of the job and understand the nature of the job. So there is no point if you are technically unaware about a job, you are going to perform and operate the job in a required manner. So technical skills comes from the kind of education, the kind of different certifications, the kind of acquiring basic knowledge about that particular phenomenon. So for example, you're working in a banking industry and you do not know the basic operations that happens at the lower level of the task operations, that is like, the flailing of the check, how to process the checks which are being submitted to the bank, how to process the basic documentation which are required at that level. So it typically talks about the proficiency in a specific field and having a knowledge about those technical operations which are required to be performed for the effective implementation of the policies. Now, the second classification of the skills is the conceptual skills. It typically talks about the experiential learnings on the job. So, conceptual skills is about the ability to think and conceptualize about some abstract and some complex situations wherein a person has to take critical decisions, wherein some kind of planning is required. It has to talk about some kind of scenarios wherein you have maybe limited information or maybe some kind of understanding of the pattern of information, and you have to make certain kind of strategic formulation of policies and plans. So it is more about the experience that how a person learns. So when you join an organization, you know bit about the task that you are supposed to deliver. So when you join an organization, you are more about operative in nature in terms of you know your job better, that what are the requirements of the job. But with the passage of time and with the experience that you gain on the job, your expansion of the knowledge helps you to take some critical decisions as well. You are better able to handle the situations. Your performance get enhanced with the passage of time, and all of these skills talks about the conceptuality in your knowledge. It talks about the ability of a person to think, observe and respond to a situation, and it is very essential for an organization for formulating some policies and plans and policies, because this is where the experience and the exposure of people with the internal and external environment is required. The third category of skills are the human skills. Now, obviously in organization, individuals work with different individuals. There is nobody who works in isolation. Even if your nature of work is more individualized in nature, you have to have communication with your peers. You have to have certain kind of interaction with your seniors, or some kind of task activities that has to be delivered. It will be along with the other people in an organization. So may it be a formal communication or some kind of informal relationships that are being developed in organizations. Interpersonal skills are required. Human skills are always needed when you are working with other people. So that is very essential to understand that the human skills, which are also termed as soft skills, that can also be understood as skills which are required to build relations and develop better interpersonal relationship. So these are the three kinds of skills which are required in an organization. Every manager must possess these three aspects of the skills, which is related to the technicality of the job and the kind of learning that he gains over the exposure and experience on the job by meeting new people, by getting into different situations and learning the dynamics of the situation and people all together, by knowing the nature of how the people are reacting in different situations along with different resources, and also human skills, because it is essential to understand that the relationships are built on communicating with each other, and interpersonal relationships are essential for humans to survive. So a blend of these three skills are essential for the effective functioning of a managerial job. Now it is interesting to see that these three skills are important for managers, but do these skills vary according to the levels of management? By learning the levels of management, we have understood that all three levels of managers are performing different nature of activities. And when the nature of activities are different, is it going to affect that what kind of skills they possess at that level, or the need or the requirement of the skill varies? Well, this is also suggested from the study of Robert Cards, where he not just only classified the skills, but he also specifies that the need of the skill is different at different levels. And now if we could see this picture, we could see the shaded regions are varying according to the levels. Let us say at the top management, the need of the conceptual skills we could see is higher, while the human skills are more required at the middle level management, and at the first line management we could see more of the technical skills depicted through this pictorial presentation. Now, why we are saying that the top management requires more of a conceptual skills? The conceptual skills more talks about the experience, the more talks about the ability to think, ability to plan, ability to respond to the organizational changes. It talks about the interaction with the environmental conditions and knowing that dynamics, and based on that understanding, ability to perform. And based on that understanding of the environmental dynamics, planning and policy making, all these things are happening. So at the top level management, the people are more involved in decision making, which are related to the long term. They are more involved in formulating policies. Their task is more about deciding the vision of the organization, investments, thinking about what will be the pattern of investments for the next 10 years, or let us say long-term vision in an organization. So top management people are actually isolated from the routine level activities. So the nature of activities of a top level management are more conceptual in nature, and that is why more of the conceptual skills are required, where they are able to think for a long-term vision. So ability to think in an abstract form, to deal with the complex situations, which comes with which comes naturally with the experience and more exposure to the situation. The top level officials are more exposed to the external world changes and the kind of environment which is revolving around some kind of a political, economic, socio-technical changes. These major changes in the environment are visioned into the objectives, into the policy making of an organization, and it requires an ability to comprehend those changes, understand the pattern of those changes, and having a vision to incorporate them into the policy making for the company. Now, the top level officials are more exposed to the long-term investment and strategy formulation, and that is why the ability to think and observe the patterns is more essential. And that is why the ratio of the conceptual skills required at the top level management is more as compared to the middle level management and the lower level management. Another example from where we could learn the importance of conceptual skills for top management is that, so even if the people at the top management do not know how to record the attendance at the ground level in a supervisor's shift, it is not going to affect much to the role that they are playing in an organization, but if they lack in the ability to comprehend the changes that are happening in the external environment and incorporate them into the policy making effectively, then obviously it is going to affect the functioning of an organization. So the more you are moving up to the ladder, the requirement of the skills is different, and it is not that they do not require the technical skills. Of course they do, but the ratio in which it is required, it can be less depending upon the situation and the task and the role and responsibilities a manager is delivering. So people at the top level management are more involved into policy making. That is why their ability to conceptualize the things in an organized manner and understanding the complex situations and then planning in accordance with that is very essential. And that is why the requirement of more and more exposure and more experiential learning is extremely important at the top level management, because there they have to decide what is going to be the vision and mission of an organization, and this is a level where we could see the philosophy of a management functioning is decided. So at this level the conceptual skills are highly important. If we look at the middle level management acts as a link between the top level management and the lower level management. Essentially, the middle level managers play a role of this bridge between these two levels. Now, because we understand that people at the top level have to isolate themselves from the routine level activities, so it is the role and responsibility of the middle level managers to deal with the top level officials as well, and also to delegate the task which has been formulated by the top level managers to the lower level managers. So basically they are playing a role of communicating what has been formulated at the top level to the down level, and at the same time they are playing the role of facilitating some benefits, certain kind of resources to the lower level management. So herein they have to have better of the interpersonal skills, because they need to deal with the people of the top level management as well and the lower level management as well. The kind of mindset with which the top level people are working in an organization is quite different, and if we look at the mindset of the people working at the lower level employment is different. The people at the lower level management are more focused towards their operations and more into the practice of the activities, and they are less involved into the decision making, and for that they look up to the middle level managers. While at the same time the top level managers are more involved in decision making and they are less concerned with the routine and regular activities of an organization, and that is why middle level managers are hired. So middle level managers have to have most of the human skills, because they are dealing with people at two different levels, and they have to understand the viewpoint of both of the levels and the concerns of both of the levels. So herein we could say that the managers at the middle level in a management hierarchy have to deal with both of the level of people, and they need to have certain kind of interpersonal skills, the way in which they are communicating and the way in which they are conveying the information, the decisions, the kind of strategies which have been formulated at the top level. They have to delegate them to the lower level management in form of certain tasks and certain roles. They have to decide what kind of nature of operations have to be performed by the people at the lower level. So the way in which they are conveying and they are communicating becomes critical, and for that they require certain kind of interpersonal skills. So it is not just only about dealing with people, but because people are different, the communication pattern has to be different, also the context from where they are coming is different. So to understand and observe that what is required is more essential to be delivered at the middle level managers, because they are actually working as a link between the two levels in an organization. They are involved in certain kind of roles which is not only related to motivating the people at the lower level, but they are also involved in guiding them, instructing them, directing certain kind of activities to them. They might also have to demonstrate certain kind of task and activities to the lower level managers. So the technical skills are also required at the middle level managers, but the most of the skills which are essential are the human skills, because they have to deal with people. They have to understand the need of the communication based upon the level of people that they are speaking to. Moreover, they are also exposed to planning and decision making of the routine level, and that is why it is critical for managers at the middle level to perform this task diligently in a manner so that the relationships can also be enhanced at this level, because they are not just only delegating tasks, but they are also responsible for sustaining the culture in an organization. So the values that the organization want to foster in their employees of commitment, loyalty, respect and trust with each other, they all have to be demonstrated by the middle level managers to the lower level managers. So it's not just only acting as a link by passing on the information, they also have to demonstrate certain kind of values and culture practices so that they can sustain that culture. The kind of relationships has to be established for the smooth functioning. And this is where we could see the constructive role of middle level managers, that how diligently they perform their activities of building better relations, not just at the top level but also with the lower level employees, so that the tasks are performed in a smooth manner. Now let's come to the first line management. The kind of skills which are highly required at this level are the technical skills, because technical skills talks more about the proficiency in the field, the way in which you are better able to deliver your job, the way in which you are better able to perform the task which is delegated. That is what is required at the technical level, or you could say the first level. Now let us understand the importance of the technical skills at the lower level management. Since the lower level management is more involved with the operative nature of activities, they are more involved in practicing what has been formulated and delegated from the top level and the middle level management. The lower level employees are more involved in performing the task, and since their performance is directly affected with their knowledge and proficiency in the field, it more requires technical skills other than the conceptual and the human skills. So they do not have to involve much themselves into the decision making. That is why we could say the conceptual skills are not very much relevant to the lower level employees. But of course they may have to deal with the customers, they may have to deal with the shift supervisors, they sometimes have to deal with the non-managerial employees also. So people management activities are also there at the lower level managers. So the human skills are also essential. But the most kind of skills which are required at the lower level management is more operative in nature. And since they are performing the task, so to perform they require some of the knowledge and proficiency of the field which is related to the task that they are performing. So they might be focusing more on the techniques, they might be focusing more on the instructions, the kind of way in which the job is being divided and how they can gain the specialization over a period of time by performing this job again and again. This is where the focus of lower level managers are inclined more as compared to the conceptual skills or the human skills. So we could see from this discussion that the levels are different in a management hierarchy, and based on this level of management, the nature of activities are also different of different level managers. And since the nature of activities is different, the amount of skills that they require at each of these levels is also different. At the top level, we require more of a conceptual skill that defines the ability to think and comprehend the bigger picture, that they should be able to decide the future course of action for the organization to function. While at the middle level, we see the more requirement of the human skills. And at the first line management or at the lower level management, we could see more of the need of the technical skills. So it is not only that the combination of the skills are essential for the effective job of managers, but also managers at different level require different ratios of these skills, because their nature of task demands such kind of variation. Let us look at some of the specific examples for each of these category of skills to get a better idea of what these skills talks about. Some of the technical skill examples could be installation or operating an instrument. For example, if there is a new machinery that has been bought into an organization for effective functioning of the task. So how to install that particular machinery, how to operate through that machinery, knowledge of such kind of operation is very, very essential to perform a technical job. So basic knowledge about a task and how to operate that particular task with the tools and machines which are required to deliver the job, that is something very, very important related to the technicality of that job. Or maybe another example is a record keeping. There are certain kind of formats that have to be prepared, certain kind of filing requirements are there. So knowledge of those aspects is something which we could say are very technical in nature, and they no layman can perform this job. You need to have certain kind of specialized knowledge about it that you learn from your degrees, from your certificates, certain kind of education system, and certain kind of trainings help employees to learn these skills. So record keeping and filing, one of the examples. Another is when you are writing monthly report, of course you must know that what are the essential characteristics and features of that particular report, what is the essential aspect of information that must go, and how to source that information, what are the basic sources from where you could get that kind of information. So retrieving information about that particular report to prepare it. Some kind of project management techniques that when you are working on a project, there are different stages of a project. So how to move from one stage to another, what are the requirements of that initial stage, what are the different essential prerequisites that you need to perform. All of these things are somewhat related to the project management technique. So knowing the technicality of moving from one stage to another stage, or maybe assembling of a machine part, some kind of quality control checks. Now for this to perform, certain kind of quality standards have to be known. When you are supervising certain kind of quality check inspection, you must know what are the standards, what are the requirement of the packaging, what are the requirements of the product specification. So there are certain kind of details that you need to be aware of. If we talk about some knowledge of the safety protocols, so when you are supervising in a factory, for example, certain kind of production or manufacturing process, you must have certain kind of knowledge of the safety protocols also, that if you will see people working in an organization, they are not abiding with the protocols, you must be able to rectify it, you must be able to correct it, you must be able to sensitize the people about it, and that you can only do when you yourself are aware of it. And obviously that comes from having a knowledge about it. That is why the focus of the technical skills is more on the knowledge and the learnings about the nitty-gritties of the job. It could include some kind of time management also, when you are setting certain kind of priorities. So you should be able to know that which task is more important when you are delegating a task to the non-managerial employees or maybe the second line managers. So at this level, or maybe from the middle level managers, the way in which you are delegating the task, the way in which you are structuring the task, it's not only about that you are delegating it, it is very very critical for you to communicate it in a manner that is understood by the people who are receiving it. So at the recipient end, it is essential that they must understand that what are you delegating. So it is not just only that you are letting the people know that what is supposed to be done, but also you are able to prioritize that which task is more essential and need to be performed when. So it is also about that you are able to manage time, since time is also a critical resource. You can do time management only when you are aware about a particular task, that how it will be performed. When you know all the steps of performing a job, when you know how to handle a machinery, when you know how to handle this kind of a time crisis, when you are working with limited resources, you can only manage this when you have a technical knowledge and expertise of that particular domain. And if you are a layman, obviously you are going to waste a lot of resources and you are going to waste a lot of time. So that is why, at the entry point of many of the jobs, the technical knowledge is being observed, that whether the person is technically equipped or not, or whether the person is eligible or not. So this kind of knowledge and expertise will help an individual to understand the domain wherein the nature of activities have to be performed. Or some kind of customer focused strategies when you are dealing with the front desk operations. So we could say that the technical skills all in all are more about working with the tools, techniques and the machines and the procedures. So they are more technical in nature, and they are more focused on the way in which the operations are performed. So the knowledge of such kind of tools, techniques will help a person to deliver these jobs more effectively and efficiently. So even if you are working with people, some kind of people skills are also required, but the more focus of the technical skills is about having a knowledge of the technicality of the job. So the next set of examples is about the conceptual skills. Now conceptual skills are more relevant to the top level management. Since the top level management is more involved in decision making, we have to appreciate the fact that they have to utilize the available information to solve some of the business problems. Now business problems could be related to whether they want to diversify the business, it could be related to retrenchment, it could be related to different kind of business level strategies that has to be adopted. So it could be, kind of business decision that may lead to some kind of mergers or acquisitions, or certain kind of investments that has to be made in different directions that can lead to diversify the business. So these are some major decisions, and in these major decisions they require many of the conceptual aspects of the knowledge, which they learn through certain kind of exposure by meeting different stakeholders, by meeting the officials of the different organizations which are their competitors, also by knowing the market situation and condition, by also responding to the market level changes, the macro factors which are changing in an environment. So a kind of an awareness of these kind of factors and ability to comprehend those trends and patterns, and then formulating them into some strategies which are working for the betterment of the organization, are certain kind of the conceptual requirements. And in that sense we say that utilizing all these kinds of knowledge and informations and transform them into certain policies is a big task, and that is why top level managers are more involved in solving certain kind of business problems, whether to expand the business or whether they want to go for retrenchment and similar decisions. They have to also identify opportunities for innovation. Now, among that process of solving the problem, the process of innovation is also a new demand of the time. Innovation is something to bring out of the box solutions. Now, that can also be a bigger concern for an organization, that how to devise policies and how to devise certain kind of big decisions that will help a company to expand the horizon of their working patterns, that can lead to certain kind of innovations. That can be done when the people at the top level management has the ability to identify the potential of some opportunities. They must be able to identify the opportunities as well in the external environment for innovation and expansion of the organization activities. Now, when we talk about the ability to comprehend the bigger picture from the abstract information, it is also about that they must have the ability to bank upon the decisions that they are making, the kind of vision that they are setting for the company by overviewing the environmental changes and the kind of disruptions happening in the industries with the technological growth and development. How to set up a vision for the company is the ability of the people, and they can be performing this task better when they have the ability to identify the latent potential in the opportunities as well. Not every opportunity can be exploited for the betterment of the organization, because at the same time they have to keep in mind the kind of resources that they possess. So in light of such kind of resources that an organization possess and the way in which they want their company to grow with a vision, all this requires a kind of a conceptual ability, and that is why the task of my role, and that is why the task of the top level management is very critical, because they are not only exposed to the information and they have to make certain kind of long term decisions, but they also have to identify the potential of the opportunity. So identifying opportunities and also identifying the potential of the opportunities for their company, that is a very, very critical decision making for the top level managers. Another example could be where they are analyzing and also becoming aware of the environmental factors. Now, environmental factors could be the political factors, it could be the economic factors, it could be the social factors. So all these kinds of major factors which are related to an economy, whole nation. So these kind of macro factors affect the functioning of an organization, because any kind of change in these factors may not affect directly the organization, but indirectly, slowly and gradually things change. So any change in the environmental factor, the first and foremost requirement of the top level management is to become aware of those kinds of changes which are happening, and for that they require constant exposure, and they utilize that kind of exposure to design certain kind of policies for the company. Another way in which they are performing their conceptual role is by selecting certain of the critical information. So obviously a chunk of information they must be observing, they must be collecting, they must be sensitizing socializing, by getting exposed to a lot of factors, a lot of different organizational people when they meet, a kind of policy making which are happening with the rival companies. All these gives them a lot of inputs. Now to utilize the required input, which is a very critical task, that only comes from the ability to think and respond to the situation. Now conceptual skills are more of the decision making skills, we could say, and that decision is going to have a long term impact on the organization. So it is not just a hasty decision making process, it is something that requires a kind of a balance in your observation and your analysis, and these kinds of balances need more of a conceptualization of the skills that may come from extracting the abstract information and convert them into some kind of decision making. Also, they have to take certain critical decisions that is related to the usage of the technology and how to incorporate the technological changes into their policies. Moreover, what are the different business models they have to resort to, because with the changes in the time, we have seen that the way in which the structures of an organization are transforming. It is not just only the hierarchical structures that may function, but in the current times we see that the hierarchies have to go flat, the structures have to be more agile, the structures have to be more modular in nature, and these kinds of changes have to be accepted, and they also have to be resonated into the policy making ideology of the top level management. So they talk about big decision making, and that is why the ability to think is very, very important, because when we are talking about for the long term phenomenon, because when we are talking about the long term decision making, so the third category of skills are the human skills, which are also known as the interpersonal skills. These are the skills which are essential to build certain kind of interpersonal relations, socialize with people in an organization, within the organization, and also with the external stakeholders. So these kind of skills are very essential to communicate, to explain, to understand, to listen, and to observe. These kind of skills help managers to perform their role diligently, because they are dealing with people of different nature, different choices, different preferences, different concerns, and different personalities. And to deal with different personalities, it is very important for an individual to possess certain kind of soft skills which enable an individual to deal with other people of different combination of the choices and preferences. Now let us look at some of the examples of human skills. Many times individual as managers have to build certain kind of credibility among their colleagues, peers, and subordinates. So human skills are certain kind of interpersonal skills that enables interactions and that helps in building interpersonal relations in an organization, not just with the employees but also with the clients, with the customers, with different stakeholders. That could be the local community, that could be some kind of media people, that could be any category of stakeholders, but it requires to build certain kind of relationships, because without the social interaction, organizations cannot function. Some key examples of human skills for managers are that they may have to build a credibility among the colleagues and the subordinates. Now, when we talk about credibility, it is very essential for managers to have that kind of trust in an organization, that what they are saying is for the betterment of the task completion, and not just task completion but also for the better relationship, because people cannot work with each other if they don't trust each other. So if you are demanding subordination from the lower level employees, so as a middle level manager, you need to build that credibility with your subordinates, that they can bank on your decision, that they can trust you, that you are not misutilizing the potential of the employees, that you are not going to take credit of their efforts, that you are going to lead them to the right direction. So all these kinds of attributes are very essential for any kind of a good relationship between people. You cannot believe in a person whom you do not trust. So these kind of trust deficits have to be filled by the managers, and they must make all these attempts to learn those kinds of skills over a period of time if they do not possess such kind of skills. So credibility is essential for social relationships, and to build that credibility for smooth functioning of an organization is a must for managers, no matter at what level they are. So they have to build these kind of credibility, and this can be only done when you have a better interpersonal relationship skill. It can be about the communication style that you possess, the way in which you are interacting with people, the kind of tone that you are using, the kind of articulation of words that you are using when you are communicating, your speech, your style, your gestures, all are the combination of certain soft skills that are very important for a person to deliver the job. So if you want a better relationship at work, and if you want your job to go smooth, it is essential that you need to have a psychological peace, and that psychological peace comes when you trust the process, when you trust the people around you, when you trust the organization. So this credibility is very essential, and to build this credibility, interpersonal skills are the key. Listening and asking questions is another example of interpersonal skills. So it is not just about how you are communicating, but also how you are enabling the other person to speak. It is like in your presence, whether the other person is feeling offended or they are comfortable and they are easily communicating their concerns and need and their kind of issues, whether they are facing certain problem in performance, any of such thing requires the listening ability. So the more of a listening ability in a person is, the better the relationships are, because this is what the basic human need is. We all want to be heard, and if employees at different level who are working, they have their own concerns, they have their own inhibitions. So to overcome all of that, it is very essential for someone to listen to them, to hear them, and these are some of the key strengths for a manager to ensure that the interpersonal relations are built and they are strong in an organization. So ability to listen and ask certain questions, that can only come when you are comfortable. Another thing is the presentation and the communication skills. So the better you are able to present, of course, a manager has to many a times to give presentations related to a sales report or certain kinds of project ideas that they have to present. It can be presentation, it can be giving presentation to the top level managers, or sometimes to the lower level managers. So it's the presentation skills which is also very essential, and the way in which you are delivering the presentation, the knowledge of the tools and techniques that are required, the way in which you have to address the audience, the kind of modulation in your speech, all of these are certain skills that can be learned over a period of time. Another example is of a coaching and a mentoring. Now, of course, as a manager, you need to do a lot of coaching to the other people. Sometimes you have to demonstrate, sometimes you have to communicate, sometimes you have to just motivate people in a process of performing their task, because they know the technical knowledge about a job, but it is very, very essential for you to motivate the team members. So the coaching and mentoring skills can only come over a period of time when you have a great interpersonal skill. Another skill which is very essential to perform a people's manager job is the diversity skill. Now, with the passage of time and with the changes in the environment, we understand that the more and more diverse the workplace is becoming, because of the people are coming from diverse backgrounds, the people are coming from different types of diversities, which can not only be about the gender, it can be about the nature of contracts that they share with the organization, the kind of choices that they are coming in. The diversity could be because of the different generations of people belong to. So the diversity is very, very essential for the new age organizations, and to have those diversity skills is blending a balance between these diverse groups. So the skills of diversity requires a kind of a balance of these differences. That can be done through certain kind of skills. So balancing the differences is the ability of a manager that is required to strike a balance between the differences between the different type of people and their different needs of their work requirement, and to ensure that the managers perform these skills diligently. Another kind of examples could be wherein they have to deal with people within the organization or with the external clients. Sometimes they have to deal with certain kind of external parties, let us say some kind of media people, or the external stakeholders such as local community people. So the way in which they are communicating with different section of people, the way in which they are communicating with the non-managerial level of employees, or let us say the community members, or let us say the people coming from different organizations. So it is like person has to build certain kind of networks. You need to have certain kind of networking, not just within the organization but also with the external stakeholders, so that certain kind of better negotiation and arbitration can be done by the manager. Also, managers are working in different teams, they are working with different kind of people, so their understanding of the task and responsibilities is different. So all of these are certain kind of examples which we could say are essential to deliver a role of a manager, and these people skills are essential because people are working with people who are different, their needs are different and choices are different. So human needs are very, very important to be addressed for a smooth functioning of an organization, and that can only be tackled through some kind of empathy, some kind of interpersonal skills, some kind of understanding of the other viewpoint and listening to their issues and concerns. That is possible through the combination of these human skills.